everybody. Today I am out here in Das Palace with our good friend Conrad Della Torre. Good morning, Conrad.
Good morning, Mike.
Today,
good morning, everyone.
Today we're going to talk about budwood. I don't know much about it, so Conrad's going to try to explain it to me from basically a zero knowledge base. So Conrad, could you kind of take it from here a little bit?
Absolutely. When we get prepared to start budding, which we'll start budding next week, hopefully Monday, we start cutting budwood about 4 or 5 days before we start budding. But prior to that, there's a lot of preparation work that got behind it. We start walking most of the blocks where we're going to be cutting our budwood at bloom time to make sure everything looks okay. Then we come in about 3 or 4 weeks before we actually start cutting budwood to inspect the fields for overall health, any genetic problems that we may see, and start flagging trees and find any potential problems so that we can eliminate all the problems.
So we are in a 2-year-old Independence block.
Yes.
Okay. Why are we in a younger orchard like this rather than something older, more established?
Well, and in Independence is a great variety that you can. It's very difficult to go to a third, fourth, or even fifth leaf orchard because this variety has a tendency to go into production early.
Okay.
So when it starts setting a crop, it stops growing. So the budwood that I need is not available on a 4th and 5th year old. It's really difficult. So it would take me a very large crew to get the budwood that I need. So we're kind of forced to go to a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old. This particular block is all on Hansen rootstock, and you can see that these trees are very vigorous. They have already been summer pruned a little bit by the farm operation, but they look great. So we've already walked it. There's enough of a crop on the tree for us to be able to determine whether the tree is fruitful and all the genetics are there, because I want to be able to see some fruit on the tree, Mike.
So what would you be looking for as an orchard that you would pass on getting budwood from?
Well, first, if this field looked real yellow and it looked kind of sickly, well, I wouldn't want to go there,
okay.
Right? So obviously this is one of Harris's orchards, so he planted Independence. The trees look absolutely good, really great, and they have great color. We have good growth. We have a really good set on them. And that's the big thing. I will not come in and cut on any trees that don't have a set on them, Mike.
Right. So can you maybe talk to me about this tree here, right?
Yeah, sure.
So we have some people behind us right now that are coming through, looking at the trees. What do you see? What are you going to do?
Well, when we're out here looking we have our crew up here, about 8 guys cutting budwood, so they'll come in here and kind of thin. And what we're looking for here is the buds that we're going to be cutting off of the tree, right? So we generally don't take any tips. We don't want anything that's already pushing the buds here, even though there's a dormant bud in between. So we're very careful to make sure that we take budwood like this. So my crew here is what they do is they take these, put them in a sack, cut about 250 per sack. Then they immediately get wet down. And after they get wet, we put them in the trailer, and of course, as it gets warmer in the morning, we generally don't turn on the refrigeration.
Yeah.
So once it starts getting warmer, we turn on the refrigeration and keep the temperatures at about 38 to 40 degrees, and that budwood stays cool all the way up until the time it's budded.
So from the time you're gonna harvest it from the tree to the time that it's being budded onto the rootstock, I mean, are we talking about a week,
4 or 5 days?
Okay,
4 or 5 days.
So 4 or 5 days from now, that's going to be tied onto a rootstock, Hansen,
yes,
Viking, whatever rootstock your customer decides, right, and off to the races.
Right. So we'll determine usually 4 to 5 days. Because, I mean, it takes a process, right? You got the budwood cutting, so you have to stay about a day or 2 ahead of the crew. Then you got the ladies that trim it. And once you see the trimming, then it goes into refrigeration again. Now it's ready to go out to the field. And so it's a process,
right,
for sure. One of the things that we want to mention, I would like to mention here, is from the nursery standpoint, there's a lot of record keeping.
Right.
Okay, when my foreman out here is cutting budwood, he's telling you in that bud log, it has, where we cut it, what variety it is, what's it going to be budded on, how many sacks he cut that day, what rows he cut from, what trees he cut from. So we have a full record identifying any potential problems that we may have. We can always come back to the field and track it and find the problem.
So if you deliver trees to me as a grower and I see something I don't really like, you would be able to track it back to this budwood source.
I would be able to track it back to this budwood source. Now,
Okay.
if I'm cutting all the time, usually the best time to catch any potential problems is when we do our roguing. Roguing means that after the trees are growing and they're about waist high
Yeah.
in the nursery,
Yeah.
I have trained the staff to walk the fields and identify any potential problems, mixes, so we catch it in the field before.
So there's quite a quality control process. If we go back
huge.
to the beginning, so you would have looked at this orchard maybe during bloom time, see if you
Right.
see any issues there.
Right.
You walked it then maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago to see if you're seeing any other sort of
Right.
other issues then. So then you'll log all of your budwood locations, all of that. Then you'll also be walking your nursery to see any other signs of potential issues.
It happens, you know, we have 40 budders out
Yeah.
there, 45. They bud about 150,000 trees a day.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things going on. Yeah, and even though we tell the budders, you know, we have a quality control.
Right.
And we tell the budders, don't borrow any budwood from your neighbor. You could be having a different variety. And they all understand that, but it happens.
Yeah.
Somebody will want to be, you know, smart and put in a stick and see, and we'll find them.
Yeah.
We will find that stick in there because that's what we have to do.
Right.
We have a chance to eliminate any potential problems going to the grower, so we have to be on top
And
of
it
it.
starts here.
Absolutely.
Okay. Anything else you want to add to the budwood collection process?
No, not very. No, it's pretty much like I said. You know, it's been a lot of preparation to get here. We take a lot of pride in what we do in our quality control, and it all starts here. If we have a good source and we follow up with all the little details that have to go after that, we should have an excellent stand in the field.
Great. Cool. Thank you very much, Conrad. And that was us talking about budwood.
Budwood. Have a
Thank you
great
very
day.
much.